y'all saw finally turned into a beautiful late afternoon, early evening. Wind has died down a little bit, not that much. Sorry, I haven't shot much on the battlefield this trip, but they started off real cloudy. Supposed to clear up in the late morning, and it did not. Wasn't until the early to mid-afternoon, really. So, better luck next time. We'll try it again, you know. Be honest, I felt kind of uninspired this trip. There's, you know, I've covered a lot of this by now, and I just hate to keep beating a dead horse. I do understand. I keep up on my homework. I've still been doing my reading. But as a lot of you who are into history you know, it's just, you're just peeling back more layers of the onion at some point, and you know, you're just getting a few new details and some new quotes, some new fun factoids. I sure don't know everything about this battle, don't get me wrong. But again, as I've said before, what I think is perhaps the most interesting aspect, and I think one of the most important things to consider, isn't how this battle happened or how the Civil War happened, but why. Again, with slavery being but a sideshow to the main event. Now, you know, this the feverish pitch of politics today is not abating. And the more it grinds on and the worse it seems to get, the more the race card is just played and played and overplayed. So, you know, I really feel bad for those who are just starting to study this. Newcomers, young folks. Because if they, you know, if you just start studying this now, it's you know, slavery is not just gonna have an outsized importance. It's gonna seem like the central reason why this battle, why this war was fought. It's just not the case. It's just not true. It's just not true. All of us want to have our, you know, these better angels. We all want to put on our good faces and act and think and speak as if you know, as if events transpired for different reasons, so the real reasons are obscured. People can walk away feeling good about themselves and feel that the cause was just. Well, the mass murder of thousands or millions in any setting, any context, be it the Civil War, World War II, Vietnam, so on and so forth, it's never justified. It's never ever justified. Ever. Americans killing Americans didn't happen because we just couldn't agree. It happened because those in power divided this nation. It didn't divide itself. Those in power divided the nation. They used wedge issues like race and slavery to tear us apart. And they're doing it again now. For those of you who are older than me, it's one of my wishes that before you pass from this earth, you understand that fact. Because one of the greatest shames to me would be that you lived all of your 70 or 80 years and never understood the politicians and bankers caused this, just like they caused every war that's ever happened. I don't think I'm any smarter than the rest of you. I just have a sociological training. I have a pretty firm, at this point, a pretty firm economic foothold. And I see things holistically, not discretely. I don't see things, you know, in terms of 1861 to 1865. Again, I see things in terms of economic revolution, banking revolution, industrial revolution. These were all the main drivers of the Civil War. The brute manual labor was rapidly becoming a thing of the past. When I say brute manual labor, I mean, you know, people still worked in factories and sweatshops, as we know, in the earlier decades in the 20th century. But at least there were sweatshops and machines and factories. You know, I'm talking about before that point, you know, when people had to do things by hand, till the earth, you know, largely, sometimes with the aid of beasts, largely with their own hands, so on and so forth. The middle 19th century was still the age before centralized banking. It was still the age before globalism had nearly become complete. Slavery was going to be a thing of the past pretty soon, with or without the Civil War. And again, as I've mentioned before, and some of these videos might be in the bottom of Lake Anna right now with my last phone. But unfortunately, I know all too well that some of you are going to live and die believing what you want to believe. But just understand that that's not history. That's not scientific. And it's not really the way it was. Truth ain't easy to accept. But for this guy, it's the first thing and it's the only thing. It's the last thing. It's all that really matters. Anyhow, I'm out of time, guys. I'll see ya.